Hello everyone and welcome to your horoscope for the week of July the 25th, 31, 2022. Now let's begin the horoscope with a little bit of humor because this is one of those weeks when it's really complicated for the astrologer to make some sense of it. So, how do I present this horoscope? This is where I still don't know. I'm already doing it, but I still don't exactly know how it's going to play out because this is one of those weeks where a lot happens, individually and collectively as well. And both of these expressions are equally as intense, equally as shocking, surprising, equally as soliciting. So, unfortunately, in some parts of the world where this energy will manifest more physically and violently, well, some people will have to double time, as in almost psychologically split into two, do their personal stuff, live their personal part, personal karma, for example, but also cope with whatever is affecting them from, the external, globally, or something happens in their region, in their place, so it's not going to be easy. At the same time, this instability, this, let's say, hardship, this surprise moment comes hand in hand with a massive blessing, with a moment of great courage, with a moment when life is being changed as a wrecking ball by external and also internal forces we cannot control. So if we add to this that very little that we can control, we contribute to that. We have this moment of courage when we say, look, fate, universe, karma, call it whatever you want. Right now, I'm with you. You can count on me. If you want me to wreck it, I'll wreck it better than you, but I'll do it with my own means. And it's gonna be the most joyful, most massive moment of victory, the biggest blessing. But all of this is absolutely wonderful. All of this is truly amazing. But for some people, this is also when love is knocking at the door unexpectedly. So that's not two timing, that's three timing, because love is a totally different dimension. So whatever happens in your life, whatever happens in the world, but then whatever happens in your heart. And for some people, let's say you're in a committed relationship, all good, but your partner can surprise you in the most delightful ways, and it can blow your mind. Mercury in the sign of Leo, a lot of hard aspects. So this will mean angry words. This will mean showing who you are. This means truly pulling out all your aces, revealing yourself, standing up for yourself, a courage that some people never had all their lifetime. You finally come out. All of us. But that also means a truth, a situation, something that we just need to accept, a reality check moment. Saturn opposing Mercury. But this also means a T square where Mercury is one of the power players. So what does this mean? Something that sinks into our heart space. So it's a massive emotional and mental and any kind of reality check. And if we apply this collectively, what is it that is going to be revealed to us collectively in the world out there? What kind of situation? And what the situation is Taurian. Why? North Node, Uranus, and Mars, of course, sorry, are meeting on the 31st of July in the sign of Taurus. North Node, collective karma. Mars, that which we do, or that which is a reverberation of that which we have done a couple of years ago or a couple of months ago, 2020. Okay, but then there is Uranus. Surprise, surprise. The future is here. So the future was knocking at the door at the beginning of 2020. The spirit also was knocking at the door in 2020. For example, 12th of April, when Jupiter, Neptune, Venus met in the sky in Pisces. That was a moment when the spirit was literally knocking at the door of our hearts, of our minds, each and every person where it knocked, but a lot of us let it in. So right now it transformed our lives, it transformed us. And this is where some people transform so radically in a good sense. In the good sense that I don't recognize those people emailing me anymore, but in the best sense possible. I said, what happened to you? Did you fall in love or something? So something truly good happened to a lot of people, and I'm included in this, of course. But maybe right now it's gonna be one of those moments where we need to protect it. Whatever good has happened to us and whatever positive change, evolution, you're totally different, and you know it. You need to protect this next week. You need to stand up for that, you need to let it shine, you need to protect it, and you need to make very, very, very difficult, sometimes heartbreaking choices. But this is where that heartbreak is optional. Because you're a different person. You're not a victim anymore. You're not in victim mode. Anyway, if that wasn't enough, Jupiter changes directions, it goes retrograde. So at the very beginning of the week, it stands still in the sky. Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Without a shadow of a doubt, this will be a week where everyone shows their true aspirations. Their true colors, yes, but based on their aspiration, based on their faith, based on their deep faith. So the masks truly fall off next week. And this changes family configurations, this changes family dynamics. Why? Aries, you need to choose your own destiny right now. And why family dynamics change drastically next week is something I'm going to be speaking about in a next video, because I need to share this, and this is something I heard from my favorite mystic in my culture. So her name is Ingrid. How many families do not respect karma because they were always formed, or they always stay together out of sheer interest? Interest is something that distorts karma. Interest is something which tells karma you're not needed. So karma goes away. And when karma goes away, the divine goes away. So you're left to your own resources. So you can imagine how many families will fall apart, start falling apart, because of greed, because of their very, 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 very ill value systems that have been in the families for generations. The age of Aquarius comes to the surface. South Node in Scorpio, it shoots up like a geyser. Scorpio, the truth, the undeniable truth, because you are what your value system is. And this will be revealed individually, collectively. And collectively, Taurus, World Bank, money, economy. The Pluto return of the US. If I'm not mistaken, the Uranus, Mars, and North Node conjunction in astrocartography. And I heard this from Pam Gregory. So for the true version of what I'm sharing with you right now, go to Pam Gregory's channel. I do believe that it also hits the Americas, all of them, all of the American larger continent. So yeah, something happens economically, and the United States might be a power player in this. And it's something unpredictable. An earthquake symbolically, but politically even. So, this is where I don't want to go further with the predictions. I can say that let's look back what Uranus did in Taurus in 1939 to 1940 something. Sorry, I'm not so good with numbers. But everyone kind of gets where I'm going with this. What happened? The same thing won't repeat again, but the pattern is still the same. So radical change and wake up call. And another wake up call is that science is not on the right path. Morally, science of today, the buttons and digital, lacks the spirit, lacks the divine, but it does not lack the lower expression of the spirit. Like, let me just give you an example of what lower expression of the spirit is. Drunkenness, alcohol, rage is the spirit. As well, it's the spirit. It is the spirit because it's distorted everything. So it's the spirit. The spirit is that as well. So never ever no spiritualist must forget that that's also the spirit. If you've seen drunks, if you had drunks in your family, if you're a victim of drunks, that's the spirit. You were a victim of the spirit. That's also the spirit. So it is our duty to keep the spirit at the higher end. Never ever to become that. Ever. We have a choice here. The spirit does not necessarily want to serve that. Yet if you open the portal and you feed the portal, then even the divine may think that you prefer that. So, and why am I sharing this? Because this week is one of those weeks when this comes out collectively. What we fed is what we get now. Mars, yeah, exactly. Mars, Uranus, North Node. Mercury, Saturn, T-square. Mercury from Leo, the heart, intelligence of the heart. So the reality check opposes Saturn, where the mind, an opposition. An opposition can be for some people a conflict, a massive conflict of the heart and mind, while for other people an opposition can be, I knew this all my life, why didn't I ever believe myself? And the T-square Uranus, awareness. So for some people it's gonna be, I knew this, I saw this coming. For other people it's gonna be surprise, shock, wow. But this is how Uranus works. If you had a basic awareness, then Uranus just says, you were right. Yep, you were right. Yep, you're aware. Or Uranus says, you did not believe the extent of to which you were right. So it can really dish up a surprise of how right you were, or you were right but you did not know the measure, or it blows your mind in any way, shape and form. Now Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, that's also a truth. But this is where, when there is a strong censorship on the internet collectively, or a massive disruption of the internet, humanity's manifested collective consciousness, ultimately, Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, it has a physical, real component to us. It's real to us. That's why it's real. That's why it's Saturnian. So there may be censorship there. But censorship is just another proof that, yeah, there is reason for the censorship to be there. So there is going to be a lot of disruption, even in media, mainstream media, a lot of news, a lot of shocks, a lot of surprises. Economically as well, but this is where let's stop talking about what happens out there in the world. But there is another thing that I would like to mention before I stop talking about this. Uranus very, very strongly activated. Sun in the sign of Leo, that's fiery. The Sun receives a fire trine from Jupiter in the sign of Aries, that's again fiery. And a trine, okay, a trine, a blessing, but what does a blessing mean for nature? Fire element, go do whatever it is that you wish. Alchemy, elemental configuration, that's what it means. That's what the Sun trine, Jupiter fire trine means. When the divine says to the fire element, go play and do whatever it is that you desire, that you wish, that you see best, and the fire element does that with its liberty. Wildfires, forest fires, explosions, humanly orchestrated fires out of rage, out of sick passion, but natural calamity, because Mars activates Uranus and the North Node, the Earth shakes physically, or any kind of Earth change, any kind of extreme weather event. And this is where I'm not sure why, but I'm also inspired to say seaquake, if that even makes sense. But anyway, it comes from below. So, and individually, but which could also have collective, let's say, aftermaths, health and safety rules. Let's try and respect it. Let's use common sense in everything. Let's not risk. Let's not do next week. And even after, the week after, extreme sports. And what other good advice could I offer under this aspect? But in matters of love, in matters of the heart, in matters of believing in yourself, in matters of value, risk, as in believe. What is there to lose, really? But physically speaking, common sense. So the health and safety rule is there for a reason. Drive safely, Mercury. Anything that has to do with enjoyment, don't exceed the limits in anything, substances or anything. And just be a rational, down-to-earth human being when it comes to physical safety, and please try to stay out of conflict. So this is what I have to say. Okay, now let's see personally. Jupiter is standing still in the sky, and Jupiter retrograde begins on the 28th of July and ends on the 23rd of November this year. So, as it goes retrograde, stands still in the sky, in the sign of Aries, this is warrior energy. This will play out in the world stage, conflicts, the war, something will escalate. Or, if the war is, and I'm so sorry to say this, but this is not my opinion, because I'm not skilled enough to have an opinion. I just read about this, heard about this. A masquerade, then of course it will stale. Because Jupiter highlights that which people need to process. So, and Jupiter is the planet of justice as well. So, yeah, but in any other way, conflict will escalate, crime rate will escalate, rape and sexual crimes will escalate. So everyone, please be safe. Crimes of religious nature, Jupiter will escalate. So please, everyone, stay safe. Now, this also has a lot of positive expressions. Warrior energy. Doing it, really. That's what it is. Doing it. Whatever it is that you need to do for yourself, the moment of bravery, the moment of courage, the moment when you choose to believe in yourself, in your worth, in your story, in your goals, in your ideals, anything really. This is when you can really, really do it. And this Jupiter will be involved in other celestial conversations, a trine with the sun. This just confirms what I said. Your sun, and this aspect is also brilliant for creativity, any kind of creativity, amateur creativity, you just wanted to try some creative stuff, but for artists and anything passion, heart based, for love, for any type of love, romantic love, even Christ like love, any kind of love. This is a period when love has to triumph, when love has to manifest, when love has to realize, when love has to conquer the world literally, when love has to be at its strongest, when love has to be magical, when love has to be miraculous. This is the period for it, and it is our duties, every single soul on this planet, to feed this, to feed into this, but to feed this. This has to be fed maximally now. Why? Our life depends on it. Real, for real, yeah. Yep, I'm not gonna lie. Our lives, collectively and individually, depend on this. Those who might choose to feed anger or hate or any kind of other feeling into this, those are extremely unwise. But new moon, you do what you want with it. Jupiter gives you the Jupiter is truth, power, belief, whatever it is that you want, but subjective always. If you want to use it for something evil, okay, no problem at all, but you will harvest the reward. And right now karma is instant, so you will get your reward there and then. Not This is where you can delay karma right now. Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, and Saturn goes to Pisces. I don't need to include this in the present horoscope because this year in 2023, okay, but those are unwise who choose hate. And that's it. This is my guidance. But those who choose love and feed into any way they can, into any type of love, well, yeah, you're doing what you need to do. You're shoulder to shoulder with the divine, protecting the sanctity in the world. So, yes, do it. Do it. Fight. Be love. Feed love. Embody love. Weave love into your work, into your creativity. Play with your children, Leo. Play with your children. Play with your pets. Anything that you can to manifest love, do it. That is very, very important because ultimately Venus is the ruling planet of the conjunction. So that's how we know there is going to be either money, stuff, world economy, personal finances, your self-worth, your divine self-worth, Uranus. That's divine. That's as objective as it can get. So when something is reflected to you at this time, it's the divine. Make no mistake, it's the divine holding the mirror. Professionally, as a relative, as a friend, as whatever quality, the Venusian expression, Venus. So your value, the divine revealing your value, simple as that. North Node, you need this. Why do you need this? Some people to change now, change before it's not too late. For other people, please continue, continue, because you're, how should I say, almost at the finish line. This is where the universe is sending you cheerleaders, saying to you on their t-shirt or, banners or however, keep on going, go on, and applauding you and cheering for you, maybe sending you a drink of water, a marathon that you have been running for years, so don't stop now. But the cheerleaders being there might be a big surprise for you, not even expecting that at running the marathon, being focused or complaining or praying or whatever. So it can be the most pleasant surprise for all of us. Uranus is awareness. Awareness. One of the things that can block awareness is the ego. So for some people, surprise, surprise, your money is worth zero. Zero. For other people, surprise, surprise, that skill, that talent, the teacher who did not approve that you're the best artist, that you can draw. The teacher was always wrong, because, as I said, the divine is holding the mirror. So this is how you let go of a limitation from one moment to the next. What the psychologist, what the mystic, what the astrologer could not accomplish in years, the divine, so not a human being, accomplishes in a millisecond. So one day you're with the trauma, another day you're trauma free. Uranus is the planet of freedom. South node in the Scorpio. And why South node? Well, Uranus opposes the South node. The trauma, the twisted truth, the South node in Scorpio, that no one could get rid of, not you, not the specialist, and everyone tried and was good-willed, but still, the divine, the creator, the great architect can get rid in a millisecond, just like that. And the astrologer is amazed, the therapist, the cleric, you are amazed, everyone's amazed in the best way possible by Venus, as I said, the governor. So Venus is value, Venus is love, Venus is freedom, Venus is everything that is beautiful. But Taurus, earthly, minimalistically, as in nature's truth as well. And nature is kind and benevolent and abundant and loving. So for a lot of people, whatever life change this is, and if for some people it already begun, for other people next week, for other people still, so if you're not among the people whose life is gonna be hit by some surprise factor, for example, if this is in a house where timing is not important, only divinely important, like 12th house, divine timing. So what we think as a human does not matter at all. 4th house, this is where it kind of depends on other people, on other factors as well. Or 10th house, it also depends on the world. So this is where the timing is delicate. But we need to be aware that Uranus and Mars are the quickest energies out there, in the slowest sign, yes. But still, and Saturn squaring this. So time doesn't follow the rules of time. It's not linear. That's one thing we must be aware of. That's why I want to say, don't lose hope, or the surprise is coming in 2022. So if it doesn't happen necessarily next week, do not worry. And also don't be afraid. Fear nothing. Because, this played out in the life of a friend, someone I know. He knew that Uranus was gonna shock him in a way he did not expect. The love of his life terminated the relationship, and because he is an infinitely loving person, he doesn't suffer. He sees the love in it. He sees the divine work in it, so he's pain-free. He's shocked, he's surprised, he's maybe broken a little bit, but he's not living doom and gloom at all. He's living the opposite. This is what you can do with awareness. This is what you can do with love and maturity, understanding, compassion. So whatever shock and surprise might come your way, it can be delightful, really. Really it can. We must take it as such. So I'll be back with the rest of the horoscope and this new moon and a lot of other things that I want to say in the next part. Thank you so much for listening.